Welcome to Synthaholics. This is your host, David Duncan, and with me is in the dark.
I'm dark?
A little bit.
Am I less dark? Wait, hold on. We can fix this live there. Maybe I'm not less dark. I'm bright now. I'm
bright
Jesus.
Usually you're super bright, but today you're dark.
I don't know. I have all my normal lights and stuff on, but I guess they're not powerful enough today.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe they're lowering the power because I'm taking too much power.
You're taking too much power, going into cyberpsychosis.
Exactly, cyberpsychosis.
Brian's favorite kind of psychosis.
Yes, it's my. Obviously, it should be everybody's favorite. So, at the top of the show, David, we talk about the news. Well, not really even news. We don't even talk about news. It's kind of just like things that have happened. I say this every time.
Things that have happened that may not be super new, but it's something we haven't talked about on here before, or it's an update to something we have talked about.
Something that piques our interest. How about that? How about that? That's a good way to put it.
I don't have the widow speak, though. Kind of, not really.
What is it? What? Anyway, we're going to go right past that and go into our first block of news. Google Stadia, David. Our favorite streaming platform
for
games.
The number one gaming platform.
Yes. They decided to sunset Google Stadia in January. This is a couple months from now. So I feel bad for the 7 people that were using it.
Well, no, I really feel bad for the guy who, put thousands of hours into Red Dead Redemption 2. And it's all gonna
there's a guy?
Oh, yeah.
He can't do anything about it?
I don't know if you can transfer your... I think it's just all gonna just go poof. His thousands of hours in Red Dead 2 are just gonna go away.
Oh no! Wow, really? Thousands? He has thousands of hours.
I saw an article soon after the announcement that there's a player that's put a ton of time into Stadia's version of Red Dead 2, and they are gonna have a really bad time when that goes away. They're gonna have to start all over if they're gonna.
I wouldn't want to start over. If I put thousands of hours into something and somebody says, "Oh, you just have to start over," maybe can Google or somebody help him transfer his account?
Just send him a zip file of his save so you can just
it's there. They have it. They have the ability to do this. We have the technology.
Well, no, but saves are weird on consoles. I mean, it's not like a computer where you can just plug in your save. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can get it's not like this is an impossible task. It can be done.
It might be impossible. Who knows? It is Google Stadia after all. It might be impossible. And I think
Google Stadia changes the rules.
No, I think the saddest thing about the Google Stadia thing dying is that before, as soon as it was announced, I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna last long. And I guess it technically lasted
longer than you think. I bet.
It lasted longer than I thought, but its death was definitely inevitable, and I called it before. As soon as they announced it, I was telling my friend at work, Andrew, I'm like, yeah, this isn't gonna last. There's no way this is gonna take off.
No.
I think the only thing that gave it legs as long as it did was COVID, because PlayStation.
Couldn't get it.
You couldn't get it. Xboxes were also very difficult to get, and Stadia was probably the one way you could probably play games.
And a computer to build costs $7,000.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel while the PlayStation was impossible to find, Stadia was probably the way to go for people who didn't have a PC or wanted newer games on a newer generation of consoles.
Yeah. Well, it's dead now.
It's dead now,
and that's.
They have a developer who was supposed to release a game in November, and they didn't even know that Stadia was going away until the worldwide announcement. So, gotta love.
Oh, that sucks.
Gotta love it when you're, the person you're developing for just doesn't tell you anything about the state of the product.
Keep in mind, though, they had this guy that had thousands of hours of Rockstar or whatever the heck. That to me points to me well, I'm never gonna do cloud gaming just because I don't have my own save file. I want I'll keep I'll keep my save file on my own computer and make space for it. I don't want somebody else having it because look what can happen. You just lose it. I don't want to lose. Can you imagine playing a game for 2,000 hours and losing it?
Yeah,
That'd be heartbreaking.
See, I don't think modern games are made for cloud gaming. Personally, I think cloud gaming should be relics of the past, just all Nintendo games, all old Sega Genesis games, all like just be able to that's where the archive of like defunct games should go, like this cloud gaming service, so you can play games in the past, because I think games should be preserved, and I think cloud gaming of old games would probably be the ideal way, because it's not like you're losing thousands of hours, because most games like reset as soon as you like turn it off, especially in the early days. I mean, like we didn't have like hard saves really until SNES. I mean, sure,
No.
Mega Man, you could type in the code.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's like
to get back to where
you
you
get
were.
to a certain point in the game and it would give you a code, and then when you start the game up again, you would put in that code, and then it'd put you back to where you were.
But I mean, that's a super archaic way of like doing a save game, and so I mean, like I feel like cloud gaming has a place, but not for like current modern games. I feel like it should be like the archive of all old video games, old DOS games, old whatever. Just set up a native environment so they can work and they can be played and accessed, because some people like retro games, and I think that would be, I mean, I don't know if the only reason it probably wouldn't happen is probably isn't enough money in it, and Nintendo would have to have their own for all Nintendo games, and
Nintendo would not. This is something Nintendo would never do. Nintendo's not doing
because
this.
Nintendo could resell all their old games and people would buy them for the 18th time. So yeah, but I mean, I just feel like in an ideal world, that would be the ideal setup for a cloud gaming service, like retro games, being able to access games that just don't work on modern hardware anymore.
Yeah, well, R.I.P. Google Stadia. I hardly knew you, and to all future cloud gaming places that are definitely going to come up, rest in peace. I will not be using you.
Yeah. Rest in peace. It will not be working. Yeah, I have to have my own physical game. Like, even if it's through Steam, like it's still on my hard drive. I can still access it. And Steam, if Steam ever goes away, that's going to be a real bad day. But I mean, like, I don't still have to.
Yeah, but you'll still have the download on your game. Like, these people didn't even have the download of the game. Like, beyond their save, they didn't even have the game. So does this guy have to go buy Red Dead again?
Yeah.
So he can have Red Dead? So he can play it?
It says Stadia is doing refunds. I don't know if they're refunding on, like, the cost of the hardware or refunding the games. Or both. I have no idea. I don't understand exactly how it works. I didn't read into it because I don't have Stadia, so I don't super care.
You don't?
No, I don't, surprisingly.
I thought that's what you use.
No, never. Never going to use a cloud streaming service as my main...
Your main means of playing games.
No.
Well, anyway, moving on, Rip Stadia. GTA 6 had a leak, and it showed some GTA 6 stuff that the hacker also stole GTA 5 and GTA 4's source code, along with 90 different things from GTA 6, whether that be source code, quick videos, images, added up to 90. And I thought that was like, I'm cool. I'm not cool with like hacking it, but it was cool for the person who did it. If you had a guess, David, how old do you think this person was?
16.
What? Did you already know?
No, I'm just guessing 16.
Yeah. I mean, feel like this. I would imagine Rockstar's got pretty heavy security going on, and this dude, a 16-year-old from the UK, hacked them, and got all this data. He's going to jail, but like that's kind of like, this guy's got a future ahead of him in cybersecurity. I would imagine. Like this pretty much probably just gave him his life career. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that. I thought it was really impressive that a 16-year-old could just infiltrate Rockstar.
It's just bizarre, all these, like, because CD Projekt Red also was a big had a big leak and someone stealing their source code for The Witcher and Cyberpunk and whatnot. Like, it's like, what's it with these open world games that they keep getting hacked for the studios that make open world games? Or all this stuff.
I don't even know why you'd want to do it. Like, what are you trying to prove? That you can? I guess maybe that you can.
Well, they want to hold it for ransom for money. That's why they do it. And then I think the funniest and like also saddest, other than Rockstar getting hacked, is that just your random nobodies on the internet are like, well, GTA looks like crap. It looks worse than GTA 5.
I know it's like super early.
It's like they're showing them in like their engine editor level with no textures. Like, yes, it's gonna look bad because they're testing stuff. This is test footage.
The game is 4 years away from release.
This isn't a trailer for an actual game. Why would you think it looks good? Like, I mean, it's just kind of sad how little the average gamer knows about game development. I mean, I went to game design school. I've seen prototypes. I've seen how stuff goes. You know, I've had to make stuff that looks ugly. I've done game jams where like basically all you do is make the ugliest, most functional game you possibly can. Like, it's game development's rough, and like, you know, sure, like art and assets are probably made early on, but they're not implemented into the game till later. I mean, about the only time they kind of polish the game and make it look pretty early on is like if they're doing early access games. Like Grounded was like not feature complete, but it was like more or less art complete, except for other things they add. You know, Satisfactory has had multiple iterations of some of the buildings throughout its life cycle. They make updates to how it looks, you know, here and there through its early access cycle. I feel like early access is the only time you have like a kind of semi-finished look to a game. But I mean, even that, it's still iterated on before it finally comes out.
Yeah, I can agree to that. I can agree.
So it's just silly that all these people are criticizing the look of GTA 6.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but you know, the world doesn't make sense anymore. I don't understand the world anymore.
Well, you're going to explore more of the world soon because you won't be here for our next show.
Next podcast, I will not be here.
So anyway, I've gone trying to recruit some people to talk about Strange New Worlds. Hopefully Jeff Heller and our friend Stuart from Trek Yards will be joining us. Will be joining me, I suppose, to talk Strange New Worlds. Get some Star Trek. And then after that, we'll be doing Lower Decks Season 3, I'm sorry. And I'll ask them if they want to join us too. Is that we're gonna have a big old conversation?
Oh, that'll be a big party.
Yeah, I don't know if they will, but you know, I'll throw it out there.
Alrighty. Well, on to the next thing. This one's good from comes from our good friend Randy Pitchfork at Mr. Borderlands.
Mr. Greasy Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, that guy. According to him, Tiny Tina shattered their targets for how much money the game was going to make. Surprising to you? Surprising to me. I don't know what he means by shattered. He didn't elaborate, but he used the word shattered.
It sold more than one copy.
That was the projection?
No, I'm sorry. It sold more than 3 copies because you, my wife, and I have it.
We're the ones. They should be coming to us. Be like, thank you for buying the game. So yeah, that was just something I found kind of.
It's going to be a franchise now, and like normally I wouldn't say this is a bad thing, but I've been burnt out on Borderlands since Borderlands 3, personally. Borderlands 1 was great. When they released Borderlands 2, it made Borderlands 1 feel like a tech demo, because Borderlands 2 goes back and fills in the plot of stuff that happened in Borderlands 1. It was brilliantly done. Handsome Jack was probably one of the best video game villains of all time. And then Borderlands 3, we get the worst video game villains of all time. The 2 streamers wannabe. It wasn't funny. And then we get Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which was kind of a step in the right direction from a story perspective. Like, it wasn't as Starfast as Borderlands 3, but also it just wasn't super memorable. Like, the new characters like just didn't resonate with me at all. I don't know. What'd you think?
I mean, yeah. We've talked about this.
We've talked about this. Like the way they structured like random battles are in this like tiny little arena. You shoot guys until they decide to let you out of the tiny arena, and I'm like, oh, this was not. Like, I mean, in Final Fantasy, they just take you to a screen, and that's the screen where you fight the bad guys. But in a 3D first-person shooter, getting tossed into a tiny level to kill like a dozen or 2 bad guys, it was just kind of like, why?
I got the Pokemon battles.
Yeah.
You ask me, what do you think? And I just say word for word exactly what you just said back to you.
That's how you know we're on the same page. Yeah. So I mean, like, I don't know.
What
Borderlands.
do you think? Yep, you said it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I don't know. I'm not sure how to feel about this. I kind of just wish they would like make a new Duke Nukem game. They bought the IP to it like a decade ago. Um,
You're not getting that. You're getting more Borderlands, and I feel like at least for you and me, it will be a hold off and just not play it.
yeah, I want like super in depth reviews, multiple reviews, user reviews, because I don't know, like 3 and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands did not do it for me.
Personally, I think I'm done. I think I'm done with Borderlands. I've been burned too many times, and that's twice. Twice too many times. Even the pre-sequel. I didn't like the pre-sequel either. Borderlands 2 is the only good one.
Honestly, like I didn't even make it through the pre-sequel. I tried playing the pre-sequel twice, and I stopped basically in the same place, about like 3 hours in.
Like right when you get to like the city.
I think I was still on the moon.
Oh man!
I was like, yeah, I was just like, yeah,
Yeah. So they struck. Lightning only strikes once for them, and that was Borderlands 2. Just a quick one. E3 is officially back, and it's going to be an in-person event the same time in June next year. They're back. They're up and going to get their E3s going, so hopefully Microsoft will join because Phil Spencer's always been a big fan of it.
E3's dead.
We'll see. We'll see. It's coming back. It is happening.
I understand it's coming back, but E3 as a thing is dead. Sony dropped out.
Yeah. So now Microsoft can take over.
Well, no, but it was always the big three, and now it's
yeah,
like
it was always a big three.
Now
and
it's like just Microsoft and like other
Nintendo's not even part of it either. He
well,
just
that's what
like
I'm saying. Like it's like Microsoft and a couple of game publishers. Like it's everyone just do their own little events now. Like it's. I don't know. The E3 luster is gone. When I was a child and I picked up a PC Gamer magazine and saw E3 stuff, I wanted nothing more. This is when I grew up to go to E3. And now it's like, well, E3's dead and I never got a chance to go.
You can go to PAX or something again.
Well, I've been to PAX. PAX is great. But I mean, it's not E3.
It's not E3. Well, as the last piece of news, Overwatch 2, man. Overwatch 2. Everything they're saying is making me not want to play the game. The game's dead on arrival.
Oh, PC. Speaking of PC Gamer and how they fostered my love for E3, PC Gamer is it was a review in progress, but everything they said in that review was eviscerating Overwatch 2 to the point where it's just I don't have a quote or anything, but just go and read it. The prose in it is fantastic. Basically, they're just trying to bury Overwatch 1 alive.
Bury it alive?
Well, yeah, because I mean, Overwatch 1 goes away this very weekend. Like, by the time this comes out on YouTube, Overwatch 1 will be no more.
And Overwatch 2 will be out.
And Overwatch 2 will be out by the time this goes live on YouTube. So
we're talking in the final moments of Overwatch.
This is the final moment. So I it's sad. Like, you know, I didn't ever want to play Overwatch 1 again. I was kind of done with it, but I decided to reinstall it. I'm like, I'm saying goodbye to a friend that died in 2017.
Goodbye, Overwatch. You were fun.
It's like, you know, if they would have just like kept developing for Overwatch 1 and like made expansions, because they never made an official expansion for the game. If they would have just put out an expansion like every 6 months with a couple new characters, a couple new maps, they would have kept up the revenue stream. Like the free-to-play battle pass system is utter garbage. Too many games have that now, and
because it makes the most amount of money.
Yeah, but I think gamers are gonna get fatigued of it eventually. Like loot boxes.
Hopefully.
Because like loot boxes were the thing. Everything had loot boxes, and then loot boxes went away. So now everything's pivoting to this. And so hopefully,
to be fair, I can play devil's advocate to that one, because loot boxes in many countries are starting to get banned.
Well, hopefully,
most of Europe has loot boxes banned. Like, you legally can't have them in games.
Because they're seen as gambling. I don't know. I feel like Battle Pass is just as much gambling, because you have to pay to access it. But if you don't play enough, you still don't get all the stuff that you paid for. It's such a trap. It's such an
Wait,
evil
what?
trap.
So if I spend $50 on this battle pass, I don't automatically get everything like given to me. I gotta play too.
Well, that's the point of the battle pass, is to keep you playing, because
man.
you have to.
I don't have
unlock
enough
the
time
stuff.
to play all the. I don't have enough time. What if you have like a real life and you can't just sit down and play Overwatch for 8 hours a day?
8 hours
Hopefully
a day.
It's not very hard.
I don't know that.
Hopefully you can play like 5-10 games and beat the whole battle pass, because I can't imagine.
That's not. I don't know if the experience is boosted if you've bought the premium battle pass, so you can get through it faster. But also just I've seen some YouTube videos of people breaking down what's in the season 1 battle pass, and like the end is this awesome Genji skin. It's one of the coolest skins in the game I've ever seen, and it's got a little bit of customization built into it. It's really nice. But I don't play Genji. I don't like playing Genji. I don't like when other people play Genji. I'm never I will not try to get there's no way I'd make it to level 80 because it's the last step on the battle pass. I don't like Overwatch enough to even try to do it on the free battle pass. And I don't know, I don't play Genji. It's not effort for me to play. There's only a couple of characters I like playing, and Mei is probably gonna get shafted again. She's probably never gonna get an epic skin like that, and neither is Symmetra. My 2 main characters are probably never gonna get skins as awesome as that. So I don't know. And they're putting the heroes are gonna be on level 55 out of 80 of the battle pass. Going forward after season 1, because I guess they're giving away Kuriko because everyone bitched that Kuriko is going to be behind the battle pass, so she's on step 1 now.
Step 1. Well, I did see the part of the battle pass was shown, and they're giving away emotes that were in Overwatch 1 as part of the premium battle pass. So the premium battle pass includes emotes that were in Overwatch 1 that you could unlock. Oh boy!
Well, and I think the most depressing thing is in Destiny there was 2 lines for the battle pass. There was
one's
the
for free
paid battle pass and
free.
the free one. It looks like in Overwatch 2 it's just 1, and the only items you get if you're on the free battle pass is if it's classified as a white item. So there'll just be levels you get nothing on the free battle pass, and I'm like, that's cool. That's the most depressing stuff ever. I wish it was 2 separate ones, like Destiny. Not that I'm saying Destiny's great by any means, but at least it felt like you were getting something even on the free one. Whereas the free one, you're gonna go multiple stages and get nothing in this battle pass. And I'm like,
yeah, I think Overwatch 2 will be okay for maybe 6 months. Then
I mean, Diablo Immortal did fine. I mean, Diablo Immortal has made so much stinking money. I was wishing people would boycott that, but the people who are whales, man, whales are freaking keeping that game afloat.
Well, it still probably isn't hitting Blizzard's marks on what they wanted it to, but it's still making a lot of money. It's still making tons.
Way more money than it should. People stop.
It should make zero money.
Stop giving them money for
Please
subpar
don't
stuff.
give them money. We get bad games if you give them money. We get bad stuff. I want good stuff. That's quality.
And some people are arguing, well, they need games companies to make money. I absolutely agree. Game companies need to make money. Let me buy Overwatch 2. I don't want free to play. Free to play is the biggest scam ever. It's just nickeling and diming you for everything, and then they make you feel bad for not playing, because if you don't play, you don't get everything from the battle pass that you paid for. I'm just I don't know.
I'll be interested to see what's gonna we play and we get the first battle pass. You unlock all the new characters or whatever that's in that battle pass. We stop playing. We come back 8 battle passes later. What about those characters that came out during those 8 battle passes? Do we know how we get those?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Probably have to buy them. We probably just have to go to the store.
You probably just have to buy them.
I don't know. I think they've said there's going to be a way to unlock them. They have not specified as to how. I mean,
monetization.
I guess for free battle pass, maybe there'd just be somewhere along the line in one of those spaces where there'd be a premium item that you can't get on the free.
Okay,
one.
Got it.
Because I mean,
so basically, we don't have all the details yet, and we're just speculating.
Don't know.
It's probably not going to be good.
Well, I mean, the game is fundamentally worse at 5v5. We played the beta and it was bad. There's also is also like, weekly tasks or monthly tasks or seasonal tasks that you have to do, like, I don't know, be Reinhardt and block this much damage, or like stand on this area and shoot with this character.
I don't like that stuff. I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't play Reinhardt.
But the thing is, like, every account's gonna have stuff like that on it. So like, there's specific tasks, and these tasks give you coins. So eventually, after like 16 seasons, you can buy a premium battle pass for free, and you can earn coins in game doing this stuff. And it's like, so basically, the 5v5 model already made the game kind of like a solo-ish feeling thing, because without two shield tanks or two tanks at all, everyone's kind of playing more on their own, or that's how it felt in the beta. And now with these specific tasks that are to every account, people are going to be doing more stuff on their own to get their tasks so they can earn coins, and not playing to win. They're playing to unlock their crap that's in the battle pass. See what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
A game that's team-based and you're supposed to work together, they're de-incentivizing that because of the way the pay progression is working. It is... Every single piece of news they've put about this game has been like train wreck after train wreck after train wreck. I'm still going to try it to see if it's any better than the beta, but...
I just complained for 5 minutes. I still am going to play it.
I will try it, but I will not spend money on it.
Well, good luck to you, man. I don't know if I'm going to play it or not yet.
Well, Brian doesn't want to give away his phone number to Blizzard.
I don't want them to record my voice either. Unless there is like a toxic level. I want to get like toxic. I want to be top 500 and being toxic. That's my goal. That would be my goal.
Well, I just want to like troll people about the battle pass. That's half of why I've been playing Overwatch 1. People like,
you got the battle pass, dude. I'm destroying you.
No, people was like, some guy was like, oh, I can't aim. Please go easy on me. And I was like, oh well, if you buy the premium battle pass, you can get aimbots.
Oh my gosh. It'll be something. It'll be a good launch week for sure. We're excited.
Oh no, launch week will be Error 34.
Oh yeah, the launch week nobody will be able to play, because that's what happens with all these types of games.
Any game you can't online, Error 34. Can't play.
Yes. No. Too many people want to play. Well, meat and potatoes time. I think we're on to the meat and potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Can't stop.
Yes. We decided to watch an anime. A real life anime. Well, not real life anime. A real anime.
I think this is... No, I think we talked about Excel Saga, so this is, I guess, technically a second anime.
This is actually a real anime from Studio Trigger, and it is Cyberpunk Edgerunners, which follows Cyberpunk at the Cyberpunk world. I don't know.
Well, it takes place in
Night City.
It takes place in 2076, so it's a year before the events of Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes, that's when it takes place. David, what would you rate Cyberpunk Edgerunners?
I'm giving it a 10. I have nothing to complain about. I just want more of this. I've played the game, so like watching the anime, it's like, oh, I've been to this block. I've seen this place. I've driven past these windmills. I've seen all this stuff. This is great. This is like wanting to make me play the game so much more. And because the anime has been so successful, the game is like sold a lot more copies.
Having a resurgence.
It's got more people playing. I think it's got more people playing than ever since launch, and I think it's also beat out Witcher 3's most concurrent player count too. Like, this anime is making Cyberpunk 2077 shoot off the roof. And I never hated Cyberpunk 2077 personally myself. It was more like a death by 1,000 cuts, because the game wasn't awful. It just had a
death by duck bite.
Death by 1,000 duck bites. It was just full of little bugs. Like, there was nothing like one major thing that just made me stop playing it. There's lots of little things, like quests not being as flexible as they seemed like. I had to do the one quest like 6 times because it didn't like the way I did it. I just had to bring someone's corpse out because I threw him out the window. It didn't count. I did a couple things and like it wouldn't do. Like lots of little things that just kind of, it was lots of crashes, lots of bugs, lots of having to restart quests because they would bug out. It just was a death by 1,000 cuts. I really enjoyed the game for what I got to play of it, but I'm waiting for the expansion to come out because I played the game at its earliest, and now I want to play the game when it's like basically finished to see like what the difference is gonna be. Brian has never played the game, so he'll have a different feel on this thing. So what was your take on Edgerunners?
I do think there were a couple problems. I don't think it was the most perfect thing on the planet. But that being said, this is still one of the best things we've reviewed, I think, on this good old podcast. I'm going to give it an 8.5. An 8.5 for me. So, for the same reasons that you said, I can't follow because I have not played Cyberpunk 2077 because I want it to be finished before I do play it. I'm looking forward to it. Now I'm even looking forward to it even more. The story for this anime, top tier. It was really good. That's pretty much where I always go to is this story. If the story is good, I'm gonna like it. Everybody loves this aesthetic of, you know, this future thing, which is also super cool. The characters all are very unique and defined, and we learn about them, so it's not just like you see a character and you're like, oh, I kind of know who that person is. It's like, no, you know who these people are. It felt kind of like the way we talked about Invincible, where we knew the characters, and everything had meaning to it because apparently I didn't know this. I thought, like, you know, when I was watching trailers for Cyberpunk and all that, I was like, oh, maybe it would be cool to live there. I don't think it's cool to live there anymore. I don't really want to live in Night City in the future. I thought it's kind of looks like a little bit dangerous. Didn't know it was that dangerous. And also, anime for this is another. I've also brought this up in the past. Is that, you know, sometimes you'll see anime and you're like, oh, that's for kids, or because it's animation or whatever. Again, this is not for kids. I would say this is more adult than Invincible. Definitely more adult than Invincible.
I thought it was going to be even more adult than it was based on the trailer. Really? Based on the trailer for the show, I thought it was going to be more, because they actually showed some like the worst stuff. Like,
I don't know how much more adult would you be able to. I mean, there's everything in here. It's not. It's not holding back on many fronts.
No, it's not. But I mean, like, I thought like the trailer maybe thought like, you know, it would be maybe a little bit more adult than it was. But
maybe more adult. Would you want it to be more adult? I feel like any more adult is just kind of like being unnecessary, because they definitely like
you're getting
prove
into
the point of being adult.
You're getting into hentai.
Yeah, I know you're getting into hentai territory. There's a lot of nudity. There's like sex toys and just people dying all the time. It's pretty an adult anime.
Well, to be fair, there's sex toys in Cyberpunk 2077.
Haven't played it, wouldn't know that.
There's a whole shop.
But yeah, it's a good anime. It is a good anime, and I'm glad that companies that make video games are starting to figure out how to adapt their video game into another medium. And it seems like after Arcane said, like, okay, we're not doing you don't do live action video games. They never turn out. And up until now, it's still true, but more of an anime-esque way, because Arcane's not technically an anime, but this is. So it seems like this is, if you want a good adaptation for your video game, looks like anime is the way to do it.
I don't think live action is out of the thing. I think just live action directors get too busy in their own vision and telling their own story. It ruins the product. Like, it's nothing to do with. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with the live action medium. I'm just saying
it hasn't been proven yet. We haven't seen any live action video game stuff that's proven that it's good.
Detective Pikachu is good. It's probably the best.
Really? You're gonna put Detective Pikachu on the same level as this in Arcane?
Well, no, I'm saying for a live action feature, it is the best live action feature.
Yeah, I'll agree to that, but I mean, I'm like, that's like hovering like 7. Like, if I'm gonna rate that, that's like a 7 or lower. That's not like any higher. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it was okay. It's like a perfectly fine, fun family movie. It wasn't like stellar by any means, but I mean, like, it works in the video game aesthetic. It was live action and it looked amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I mean, it's based on a game I've never played. I've never played Detective Pikachu, but uh, I'm familiar with the Pokemon world. It was fine. The reason I have to give this game such a high score is like this. Like I said, the story was fantastic. Really enjoyed the stories. I love the characters. Like I said, I saw so many familiar places from the game, so there was like a nostalgia hit there, and it is the perfect way to tie into an existing property without like just being fan servicey. Because Arcane like used Jinx, which is probably one of the most common. Everyone knows who Jinx is character, but also it didn't feel like the game at all. Whereas like this sort of feels way more like the game. Like I mean, you got you're running on cars. You've got like they got the mono wire. You've got like your arms with the either the blades in it or like the gun in it. Like you see guns you use in the game. Like it feels like, oh, these are things I've seen in the game. I've used some of these things in the game. Like I wanted to get this but I didn't. The hacking, like when they showed some of the hacking is like you can actually see the hacking mini game come. The call sound when they receive calls and they talk to each other, it's the same sound from the game. It's just so many nostalgia hits from playing the game are coming, and it works because it's how the world is built, and that cohesiveness, even though it's different characters and different story. I mean, really, Atom Smasher is the only character we get any real time with in the anime that's from, I'm sure there's other little cameos from the game, but like Atom Smasher is the most, and he's only in the last episode, really.
So before we go any farther, I think we should kind of explain what this show is. So David, who is our main character wearing the yellow jacket, yep, that you're in it. He is going to Arasaka School, I think. Yeah. I don't know exactly because I haven't played the game, but it's Arasaka School, and he gets kicked out for him being kind of a delinquent, and he feels like he doesn't fit in. But it was all part of the plan because his mom is working super hard to afford David a better life. And he joins, after a while, the school doesn't work out for him very well. And he joins this crew of Edgerunners who kind of are like the underbelly, like mafia type of thing going on.
They're just cyberpunks. They're just trying to make a living in Night City. It's just...
Yeah, they're trying to make there's other ways to make a living that don't involve the aggression that they're doing towards people.
Of course it does. There's no other way.
This is not like if I'm trying to make my way in Night City, I'm not going to be in this crew. This isn't the first place I'm going.
What are you talking about, Brian? Why would you not join these outstanding citizens of Night
These
City?
are not outstanding citizens.
They are, though.
During this whole show, you get to the ending, the final episode, and you start to think to yourself, maybe they weren't that bad of people. And then you think back to, like, what the show was, and you're like, no, they were definitely, like, villains. We're definitely following villains here. They have their own story, which is very interesting, but they're not good guys.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there are no good people in Night City. I mean, like, the U.S. government is, like, kind of... defunct. Like it's not as powerful as corporations like Arasaka and Militech. I mean, like, the wars aren't between countries anymore. The wars are between the corporations in this universe. I mean, they mentioned one of the Ripper docs, I believe, mentioned like the third corporate war or whatever. It's not wars between nations. It's wars between companies, because companies are the all-powerful thing. Like, this is how we are headed down. Microsoft acquiring all the video game companies. Like, they're gonna get their own private army soon and go after Sony. Like, this is our future starting to become the cyberpunk future, where all these companies are just eating up smaller companies to become mega companies. This is the future of Cyberpunk 2077. Like, the U.S. government is like a shell of its former self in this world. And the expansion has to do with you pledging allegiance to the U.S. I guess they're trying to like bring down the companies to get their own power back. in this expansion that's coming out.
Well, this is definitely like Doomsday Night City, or this lore that they have here is like Doomsday. I guess you could say this is a way we're heading, but like we're not gonna get here. I doubt we'll get here. There's no way.
55 years is a long time.
I don't know, man. I'll be happy if I'm dead by the time this happens. I don't want to live in a world like this.
I mean, we're heading down this path, I believe. I mean, like, I don't know if we'll be like that technologically advanced, but like that kind of corruption, we're.
Oh yeah, no, we'll be there for the corruption. I don't think we're gonna be there for exactly what's going on here.
No,
I don't think Atom Smasher is gonna be an actual thing. Who knows? Maybe it will be. But
I'm gonna be Atom Smasher. I'm gonna change my name to Atom soon.
Yeah, hey man, if you want to go Atom Smasher route, you're gonna have a lot of augments you got to do. Some things about the characters that are in the show, none of them make it. So you and I briefly talked about maybe there would be an opportunity for season 2 here. There would have to be something pretty much brand new, because just about all the characters don't make it, which makes, I feel like that really impacts the story and makes it so much better, because it's like they're not like, oh well, this main character can't die because they have to be in 8 more seasons. So it's like when you're watching Game of Thrones or something, you see the Jon Snow, it's like, he's not really dead, because he's the main character, he's coming back. For this, the main characters aren't safe and they die.
Well, that's like kind of the whole thing with Cyberpunk. It's like these people don't want, like, at least the people who get super augmented and stuff like that, they don't want to live a normal life. They don't want to just work 9 to 5 or whatever. Like, the point of their life is basically to go out in the biggest blaze of glory as a cyberpunk as they can, so their name can be remembered. Like, I believe there's a David Martinez drink in the Afterlife bar in the game. Because,
really? That's super cool.
Usually when someone who goes out in a really big bombastic way, they get a drink named after them.
That's super cool. I didn't know that. Wow, that's really cool. I like that.
There's so many cool things like in the game. Like Afterlife is like where like the big cyberpunks go. Like, you go to Afterlife as V in the game. It's like a place you go relatively often enough. You can go there more, I guess, if you just want to enjoy the vibe. But there's quests that take you there a couple times. So I mean, like, it's like I said, the nostalgia factor is great. Just like, oh, I've been there, I've hung out there, I've talked to people there, I've done quests for people there.
I've done it all. Yeah. So we should talk about exactly what's going on in the story. We got sidetracked here. So
David's mother dies a horrible death, and some
hold on before we even get there. Hold on, man, I keep getting distracted because there's so much to talk about. So was there a point when you were watching this where it's like, I'm in? Because for me, after the ending of that first episode, granted it's not as powerful as some other first episodes, it was very anime-esque the way they did it, because it is an anime. But the way David and his mom have an interaction at the end of episode 1, it was kind of like, for me, that was it. I was like, I'm on board. That was done really well. Well, was there a moment for you where you're like, that's it, I'm watching all of it now?
Well, I gotta say, I was on board from the beginning. Like I said, I got that game nostalgia. So like hearing the phone call, seeing the world, and it brought to life an anime. So like I believe CD Projekt Red shared like most of their assets with the anime company, so they could make the game. I mean, make the shows like accurate to the game, like the streets and the places. It was beautiful, and like the animation was beautiful and serene and disturbing. It was great.
Definitely disturbing. That's for sure. Great. Definitely disturbing. So now I'll get to the story here. So David goes to school, gets kicked out of the school
for having like illegal malware.
Yeah, having malware and viruses. They also speak in like computer like when they're like, he's gonna like flatline, or he's gonna he doesn't have enough like RAM in him or something. It's like they like have this very like computer speak to him, and I thought it is super nerdy, but like I thought it was kind of cool there. Anyway,
it's how the game is. It's just the lore that.
Oh really? I thought that was really cool, even though people that don't deal with computers or anything would think it's kind of cringe. Anyway,
no, it's just set up for the lore. It's
cool.
It is.
It's cool.
It is cool.
It's cool. It's cool. So he's a cyber runner. He ends up becoming, he becomes an edge runner. He's running all these jobs with these people. and he gets this like back augment. Now you're gonna have to fill me in a little bit here, but he gets a back augment where he ends up being able to move as fast as like the Flash.
You can like slow down time. It's you can get.
That's a thing in the game?
You can get it in the game, yeah.
Okay, so he gets this from somebody that goes crazy in the first episode.
It opens up with a cyber psycho murdering a bunch of people. Then Max Tech gets called in to take him out. Max Tech is basically like the super police who deal with cyber psychos in the game. So like the police are bad enough in Night City, but these are like the super SWAT team. Like you do not want Max Tech called on you. You are dead.
So he does die because what have you just said, and David, our main character here, who's you as well, gets this back augment that makes him go really fast. He uses it a bunch, and it starts affecting his brain here. He starts falling apart, and he finds this doc who has a Jamaican accent, and the doc is really cool. I like the doc. And he's telling him like, "Hey, David, man, you can't keep doing this."
Ripper Doc. Although this Ripper Doc isn't the most honest guy, he doesn't tell him about the meds he needs to be on.
No, he doesn't. Is he in the game? Or is any of these characters like besides Atom Smasher? I know Atom Smasher's in the game. Are any of these characters in the game itself or not yet?
I didn't visit every single Ripper Doc, so I don't know if this particular Ripper Doc is in the game. I don't know.
Okay, so he kind of gives David a little bit of advice, kind of a little sketch. You can tell this is a sketchy guy.
He's not the main Ripper Doc from the story of Cyberpunk 2077. There's like a main one that's like your friend, kind of.
Oh.
But
okay.
But there's other ones you can go to for sure.
So after David he goes to the doc and he doesn't stop using his abilities because the more you use your ability, the more you start going cyber psycho, I guess. You get closer to getting into that threshold of coming back.
Also, the more augments you have, that's also a problem.
Yeah, that would also affect you. You're gonna have to like jump in here because it's like this is like the opposite of like Arcane and League for me. You're like you played Cyberpunk and I'm like getting it from a totally different perspective.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool that you've got the perspective of just anime, and I've got like I've got everything.
You got it all.
Yeah.
So he seems like he has the ability to kind of take it. He's able to like start moving, really do that like fast ability.
Because most people can only do it like 2 or 3 times like a day, and
he did it like
7 times without meds too.
Yeah.
So like
Arasaka sees it,
finds out. Yeah.
Yeah, they find out, and that's where we're introduced to Faraday, who is voiced by whoever the heck that guy is. You hear his voice and you know he's from Breaking Bad and The Boys. Man. Yeah, he's the Chicken Man. I don't remember. I don't know his name. His name is like Gonzalez. He's got like a Mexican name, or I said it's not like a standard American name. It's something. Hugo, I don't know.
Gestapo Frayne is his character from Breaking Bad. That's what I know him as.
Maybe that's what I'm trying to think of it. But
Los Pollos Romanos from Each Chicken Man.
He is the voice of Faraday, and they're trying to get a hold of David because they can see that David has abilities of being able to handle this stuff. So that's mostly what the core main story is, but there are other stories going on. And we get introduced to our crew here. The first one that I'll note, because there's not too much to this one, I think he's the least amount, is Falco. The only thing I really want to say about Falco is that he's voiced by Matt Mercer, and Matt Mercer is a wonderful human being. Beyond that, I think you should talk about Rebecca, because I for sure did not see this coming that you were going to say Rebecca was your favorite character, but tell us a little bit about Rebecca.
Rebecca has augmented herself to just look like a lolly.
She's right. Oh, she's down here for you. Down here. Down.
Yeah, she's really really small, and she's like super cute. Got crazy eyes, and she's insane. And she is insane. which is why I love her. She's absolutely bonkers. She will pull out like just giant guns out of nowhere, very anime style. And also like one of the things that struck me like early on, like it was episode 2 or 3, just the way she like delivered some lines, just was like in the most anime way possible. I don't remember exactly the line, but you know what I'm talking about, right? When he's like leaving the bar and she says something weird, and it's just like that's just so anime. Like the line delivery and the words and everything. It was like, wow, I definitely am watching an anime.
Yeah, you're watching an anime.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought she was a fun character, and she was probably honestly the smartest character in the crew.
Yeah, she was. To make it clear, I liked the entire crew. I don't think there's any characters that were in the crew that I was like, I don't like them. They're all cool in their own ways. It's just some of them are more of like, I like this person more than this person.
I liked her most because she was the smartest person there, like by far. Like she should have been the leader of the crew, but due to her lolly. No, I'm not crazy. I'm just saying because she's smart. Like
no, I was saying I don't think she can be the leader because she's kind of just like shoot everybody crazy type person.
Okay, yes, she is crazy, and she's
not stable enough to be the leader.
but even though she's crazy, she's still smart. Like she knows when to not be crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't see her as a leader. I don't see her as the leader, man.
I just wish she was the leader because I think the crew would have survived longer if she was the leader because she's got the smart. Like she knows how bad Night City is. Like this is when Dave he just knocks on her door. This is how she answers the door.
Yeah, she's got leader potential in that screenshot.
Because I mean she's smart. I mean because she's like Night City's an awful place. Like Brian was like, oh, I want to live in Night City one day. I'm like, no you don't. Like Night City is terrible. Like it's like a character in itself. It's just in the embodiment of corruption and kind of evil, but it's just kind of like bad. You have to live there because that's where the money is, you know. It's a big city, that's where, you know, the jobs are. It's not good, it's not pretty, it's just the way of life. And she is smart. She knows how to handle that way of life because, you know, you don't know who'll come knocking. You better be prepared.
Don't know who come knocking.
Yeah,
she is prepared. Kiwi, I don't think it's either one of us have like any connection to, but she is kind of like a double agent. She's working with Faraday and the crew, and she ends up just getting screwed over by Faraday.
Yeah, I didn't love her, but I was sad that she kind of ended up being like a bad guy.
Yeah, she also ends up dying, so that's something that happens. The next,
unfortunately, Rebecca's brother is the first to go.
Yes, he doesn't make it.
He gets killed by a pissing cyber psycho. The dude just has like 6 gallons of pee in his bladder, just as peeing, and her brother's like, dude, go pee somewhere else. The dude just like shoots him through the jaw, blows the top of his head off.
Yeah, gone. Just like that. For one of my favorite characters, I wouldn't say I have like an absolute favorite, but one of my favorites was Maine. For sure. I don't know what episode it was. 5 or 6 maybe. But like his whole like he knew he was about to die and he's starting to go psycho and all that. I felt like he was the father figure kind of.
Yeah.
Until like that moment, then he's just like it turned it. Oh man, it was so cool because anime has a way of like showing you something about what's going on. Like we knew he went psycho when like his glasses just like shattered.
Well, it's like he's gone. The aesthetic throughout the entire show is when people start having like eyes just
multiple eyes will show up
and they just start flashing. That's when you know they're going cyber psycho. Like it is a really nice touch that like without a doubt you know someone's going cyber psycho just because the way they did the animation. It's nice. That I guess is one thing you can't do. I guess you could like CGI their eyes like crazy or whatever in real life, but that little flair to the anime just makes it like, oh.
You can't get that. You can't get that in with real life CGI. It doesn't. It just wouldn't look right. It would look weird.
Yeah, it would play different. So I mean, the way it plays is really nice. And you know, cyber psychos are like the mini bosses in the game. They're like optional bosses you can go fight in the game.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. That's because they seem really powerful. They seem powerful.
Yeah, I think there's like 1 or 2 that like you have to kill as like part of the quest, and the other ones are kind of like just like main quests or like they're side content. You can go kill them if you want. You can ignore them if you want.
Well, I'm not. I think I'm gonna play quite a bit of this game when it's time. I don't think I'm gonna skip a whole lot because this anime is amazing. The next character is Lucy. Lucy is also one of my favorite characters. I just liked her vibe. I liked her vibe. Her character is like she kind of wants to go to the moon. She's just kind of cool though. She has like this whip where it's like kind of like a lightsaber whip kind of.
It's called monowire, and the game classifies it as a sword.
Oh, that's a sword, huh? It's cool. Like it is kind of like a lightsaber, but not quite as powerful as a lightsaber.
It's cool. Like I never used monowire, and like whenever I make a new character in Cyberpunk 2077, I want to do a Lucy build.
A Lucy build.
Well, because she's also a hacker, which is like probably one of the fun things that just makes Cyberpunk a little bit different from many other games. When you specialize in hacking and like cyber attacking their implants, it's a lot of fun. And like you can like kill people without like shooting a bullet. Like it's just kind of cool being able
That is kind of cool. He got like mind powers.
yeah, but it's like all computerized and stuff like that. And you see her using the hacking mini game, which is actually in the game. Oh, it's so cool, so cool. I really want to be I want to do a Lucy build because I never used the monowire in my first playthrough.
Monowire definitely looks really cool for sure. So moving on a little bit here, after Main dies, that's when kind of like there is no more side quests. I think episode like 6 through 10 is pretty much just like full on coming at you with a story. There's no like little more side quests. It's kind of just nonstop action for them. So this kind of comes into one of my problems is I wanted more episodes because it was kind of like nonstop action. We didn't get to like it was I wanted to see just like an episode of just them hanging out, like just roaming around Night City, like, oh, we have to go do this or we have to go do that. This is like one of the first times and probably one of the only times you'll hear me say this is I want filler. I wanted filler.
Well, so many things are just filler. Like far,
it's just always going though. It's just like the show is just going. It's going at 10 miles. It's going 100 miles an hour the entire time. It doesn't slow down at all.
And then like so far, Rings of Power has been like 5 episodes of filler.
Pretty much. Compared to Rings of Power, this is like on a completely different level in terms of like what's going on. Like Rings of Power is extremely like slow right now, and maybe it'll change someday. But they are trying to build out. What even makes it crazier is these are only like 20-minute episodes. It's not like an hour where you have like, oh, there's gonna be like a filler. Like Rings of Power is like hour a little bit over.
Like an hour and like 7 or 9 minutes a piece.
Yeah, so there is more time for like filler, but like it's all filler. It feels like it's all filler. Where not even 10 minutes of Rings of Power episodes are spent towards big power action moments. Where these episodes range, I think, from about 20 to 30 minutes, somewhere in there, depending on the episode. Yeah, and it's just like nonstop. Go.
Like the first episode is the most filler episode you get because it's just introducing you to David, introducing you to his mother dying, Arasaka, meeting Lucy, like
and they do a good job showing this relationship between David and his mother. When the like accident happens, I was like, oh, they're not gonna kill her. It's not a big deal. And then like the insurance medical people come and it's like, yeah, here we go. She's obviously not gonna die. And then they're just like, she doesn't have insurance. We're leaving.
Well, yeah.
I was like, oh my god, dude.
That's how Night City is, though. Night City's awful. And like, if you've got like the platinum package, like they'll try to revive you from as death can get. Sometimes it's bonkers. Like one of the first things you do once you're done with like the intro of like one of the first missions you go on in Cyberpunk 2077 is you're trying to save this girl who's been kidnapped, and then like once you get her out from like the area she's in, like her transmitter kicks back in, and like the ambulance comes and they just like put her body down. They just like, got guns on you. They're just like, don't touch her anymore. Put her down. Like like okay, it's just like bonkers. Okay. Like when the ambulance come packing as much as the police do, it's like it's a fun city.
That's Night City for you. So yeah, that was really cool nonstop action. Another thing I wanted to bring up is The music, I was at the time I only watched like episode 1, maybe I was on episode 2, and I text you because we don't really talk about too much. We know like we'll make the decision of what we're going to talk about when we get to a podcast, and we'll just message each other and say something like real quick, and we don't really explain too much. And I was just like, music's really cool, and that stayed true for me the entire time. I was just like, the music was great, fantastic. I want to find where like the soundtrack for the show is, and I'm gonna listen to it when I'm doing stuff. But I thought the music for the show and sound effects were really cool.
The music was really good. I really like the music in Cyberpunk 2077 as well. Like, I've been playing GTA 5 lately, and like most of the music on the radios, like I hate, and like a lot of the music in Cyberpunk I never heard before, but it was really cool. So yeah, like I kind of really cool. It's another reason I'm kind of like itching for Cyberpunk, because I'm playing Grand Theft Auto and I'm like, change the radio station, change the radio station, change it. Like, I don't like most of this music. In Cyberpunk I liked most of it.
Yeah, it's all really good.
Like in the game, and the show music was good too, but the game also had some really great music.
So this one's a double-edged sword, is the animation. So there are certain times where this animation's a 10 out of 10. There is one scene that comes in particular where David is... I don't know what episode this is. It's going to be hard to explain, but there's an episode where David uses his ability, and they show it take place. Like he like steps back because somebody's going to hit him with a hammer, and he steps back to dodge it.
It's the first episode after Main dies. So that's like 6, I think.
Okay, so that's like 6, 7, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. So you know what I'm talking about then. So he like steps back, and he like jumps over the guy, and then he shoots him, and they show it in like bullet time. They showed it in like bullet time, and then the bullet time ends, and then they show it in like real time. He's just like, and I thought that was like super cool.
That was cool. I wish they would have done that more. Honestly.
Yeah, I wish they did that all the time. Every time there was an opportunity for them to do that, I wish they would have done it, because that was a 10 out of 10 moment.
It was really cool. But I was definitely sad. I think they only did it that one time.
They do it that one time, because I always looked for it after that. The downside, though, to this animation is it felt incomplete sometimes. In the background, there was faces not filled out. Sometimes the animation, it was just, you can tell they needed a little bit more time to really get this perfect, but there was times I noticed the backgrounds weren't fully complete, or a character didn't have like even a face. It was just kind of like the body, or there was sometimes the background. I feel like
that's just an anime thing, though.
No, this one was a little bit worse than your higher tier anime. Normally they'll have like at least the face drawn on. These ones didn't have the face. Sometimes they were just like, you could tell that they put them there. It wasn't part of the background, but they were just completely still. If it was a little bit unfinished. Yeah, that's not really a dig. I'm sure they were against like super hard deadline to get this complete. It's a very minor complaint.
The game's floundering. We need this out as soon as humanly possible.
They probably that's probably what was going on.
Well, and no, it takes. They announced the anime. I mean, maybe, but they announced the anime before the game came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they announced.
So they've been working on it, because this like people don't understand how long it takes to do anime. Let's say it takes longer to do anime than it does to like film stuff like normally. So it's like they need a little bit more time. Like Arcane, I've talked about Arcane's animation. I think that's the gold standard. That is my favorite type of animation. It looks amazing. They spent 8 years doing that. It's not like they churned that out in a year or two. Well, yeah, it took a very long time.
It's like a weird mashup between actual drawing and then like CG and then CGN drawing. It was like a bizarre, but amazingly beautiful type. But I mean, I thought Cyberpunk Edgerunners was a beautiful anime. I mean, like,
yeah, it was great.
Like the main characters all looked good. Like, I mean, with anime, like the backgrounds, I could really care less, because I mean, like, you're not supposed to be looking at the backgrounds, like the action. And I've seen other animes where they don't really complete like the characters in the background, or they're just drawn dumb on purpose. Just
you are right. But this one was. I've watched a lot of anime, and this one was just a little bit more subpar sometimes, which is that's the only thing that's all I have to complain about. Like that the show's good, because that's all I got. I got nothing else. Other than that, that was like, this show is just like, it hits and checks all the boxes. So
that's
if that's what I'm coming to you and telling you that the animation sometimes can be a little worse than what's normal. So I feel like, this is the glowing review here.
Is that what knocks it down a whole point and a half?
Oh no, the point and a half mostly comes from I'm more of a fantasy fan than sci-fi fan. And those are the two things. Like, I'm generally probably going to rate a good fantasy show higher than a good sci-fi show. It's just a preference thing. This is about as high as you can get for a sci-fi show for me.
The question, are we ever going to get a good fantasy show?
No, probably not. Probably not. But when that day comes, I'll be a happy boy.
Well, we did get the original Lord of the Rings trilogy a 10. So I mean, that's good. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I love both fantasy and sci-fi. I'm probably more on the sci-fi end than the
fantasy you're more end. You gear more towards sci-fi. I gear more towards fantasy. Honestly, I'm not sure anything can hit a 10 for if it's just sci-fi for me. I don't think maybe someday, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe season 2 if they decide to do a season 2 of this, cuz this is, this we're pushing here near perfect.
Okay, well, once you play Cyberpunk 2077, come back and then we'll see if you think the Edgerunners is any better.
I will make a note of that on our podcast list, and I will do that. It probably will raise it. I don't think it'll get a 10. But we can revisit that. I don't know when the expansion comes out, but whatever it does.
We can probably talk about the anime again and the expansion once that comes out.
Yeah, because then we can talk about the game as well. Because by then time, I probably will play the game.
Because honestly, Edgerunners is great. Like I said, I don't have a problem with the story. I don't have a problem with the really anything. I mean, it was just so well done. So many callbacks to the game, from the sound effects, some of the music to the just the world. The Sandevistan, you can get one of those if you want to.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any, like, you can't get the stupid, like, cyber skeleton. That's not really a thing in the game. But I mean, it's a cool thing for the anime for sure. It was cool to have someone who could kind of go toe to toe with Atom Smasher. And like I was reading an article that people like are so mad about the anime, they're trying to kill Atom Smasher as early in the game as they can possibly can.
Oh man, people. So if we haven't been abundantly clear that we've spoiled just about everything so far of this show, I want to talk a little bit about what season 2 could be, because no one's alive at this point. Lucy, I think Lucy is the only one of the crew of pretty much any main character that we have that survives.
Oh, I guess
season 1.
I guess Falco's still alive.
Okay, they're not gonna make season 2 about Falco. Let's be honest here.
Do a barrel roll.
Pretty much.
Wrong Falco.
So, yes. But Lucy is the only one that survives, and I don't know. Maybe they were hinting towards something here, but did she like download David into her brain or something? Because the final shot is her on the moon and she's seeing David or like talking to him or something. Like something's going on there.
It's just a memory from whenever she.
Oh, that was a memory. Okay.
Well, it's from the first or the second episode when she.
Well, can you download? I don't. Well, no. I guess this is a question for you. Can you download like your consciousness into somebody else? Is that a thing?
Well, I mean, maybe she got like a brain dance of him from earlier in his life, because I mean you kind of record stuff, because I mean that's what Dave was doing at the beginning, like when they captured that brain dance guy, like that. Mm-hmm. It's like people like can just scrub the last moments of someone's life and just like play it out and like experience the psychosis of in like getting shot and doing all this crazy stuff. That's what the brain dances are, but I mean it's like from earlier in his life. Like at least a year before, so I don't know if like I think it was just meant to be like a memory, because they spent time on the moon in like that shared brain dance they did with her
gotcha
moon
okay
program.
One thing I forgot to point out
was actually there.
David, before you continue on that, David ends up becoming like gets Maine's augments. We didn't bring that up, and then he turns into like as big as Maine is from this little scrawny kid, and then he like upgrades even farther and gets Militech's like top secret thing. He pretty much becomes a tank.
Skeleton, yeah. And the skeleton's so big it needs like these like repulsor drives to fly, and Atom Smasher just destroys them, and like, oh man, it's sad. And then like Atom Smasher just falls out of the sky and just destroys Lucy by just falling on her, just because he's so heavy and so big. He just destroys her.
Yeah, Adam
really
Smasher seems to be no joke.
No,
doesn't seem to be a joke.
He's
a strong individual. Because I thought David at the end there, he was pretty much of a beast, but Adam Smasher is a little bit more of a beast. But yeah.
Yeah, it was excellent anime, excellent. It's a pretty good game. I'm excited to play the expansion and see what the game feels like, at its completeness. So,
completeness. So, David,
if they do, if it's another season, they could just do a whole nother, a whole different crew doing their own different things. It's fine. Like, you can do as many seasons as you want because Cyberpunk started as a tabletop game. People were just doing their own little crews in Night City, I guess, as the backdrop of this universe where you create your own cyberpunks and you do like a D&D type thing. So there could be it's definitely lots of little crews going around.
Yeah, for season 2, that's what they will have to do.
If they wanted to, I was kind of glad they didn't use a whole bunch of main characters, but Jackie is a really popular character from the game, and he's not in the game for super long. It might be neat to have like an anime or what happens with Jackie before he meets V. That could be interesting, like his former crew or whatever. Like they could. Because
Jackie, I haven't played the game, but Jackie is alive. Like everybody's alive that's in Cyberpunk 2077, right? They're technically alive.
Well, yeah, because
it's only a year, right?
Yeah, so okay. The other Ripper Docs could be, or they're coming.
So they're around.
Yeah, they're around. They could go earlier. If they wanted to, they could probably do like a Johnny Silverhand story if they wanted to, like, also do.
I don't think they'll do that. That's probably a little bit too expensive.
You can do like whatever. There's tons of stuff they could do. Honestly, if they just do another crew like this, like that would be fine. Like,
cool.
A whole. I'd be there for it.
Also, the world building in the anime, and probably the game too, is super good. It feels lived in. It feels like time and effort went into the details, the way it looks, the vibe, the lighting. It all makes you feel like this. You're there. You're part of it. You're in the world. Compared to something like Spider-Man, where an apartment building falls and the only person dies is Aunt May. So
yeah,
I like that. Like that was the most not lived in New York City I've ever seen in my life. Where it's Spider-Man. It's like you didn't see anybody except Spider-Man in it. Anyway, yeah, totally different. That's like a 0 out of 10, and this is a 10 out of 10 for world building for show.
Yeah, it's. I'm actually excited to go back and watch this anime again. It was just so good.
Yeah, it was really good. I think before we close it out, I don't know. I feel like the past watching this terrible B movie that we podcast about last time, and now watching an anime. Both of these things that we've talked about, we enjoyed doing it a lot. So I don't know. Maybe we'll start adding anime, the cool animes we see. I don't know. Who knows what's going on here? But both of them I've enjoyed quite a bit. So who knows what the future holds. Hopefully more Cyberpunk.
I don't know. I really hope they make another Cyberpunk anime. That would be fantastic, because this is the way to make a tie-in. Honestly, that's partly why I didn't understand why they make a League of Legends show, because how is it ever going to tie into the game? Because the game doesn't even make any sense.
It's not ever going to tie into the show.
The game doesn't make any sense. There's no way you can all you can do is make stories about the characters that are in the game. And
well, there's two sides to League of Legends. There is the game that they built up, and they have that's this super competitive MOBA, where there is no lore, there is none of that in the game. But then there's also the side of they have a card game that has the lore. All characters have very deep stories and lore to them, equal to stuff in Cyberpunk. They all have very intense stories. They just don't have anywhere to tell them. So they have to just invent a medium to do it, because you can't do it. There is no tie into the game. It's just a competitive 5v5 game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why Cyberpunk is the way to do it, because
it ties into itself.
They made the game. Looks like they shared all the assets and screenshots, pictures of what the world looked like to the anime studio. Anime studio used those as reference to build out where things were gonna happen, in the anime, and like it's all places like I've seen or been to, or like I think some of the apartments are now buyable. I haven't played the game since they added buyable extra apartments, so I'm excited to try those out.
You want to buy an apartment?
Because I think the apartments you buy are the ones like that these characters use in the game that they're dead.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I think those are some of the ones you can buy. The ones from the,
that's cool.
Because they are dead now, so they're free. They're for rent.
They're for rent.
Yeah, so I think that's what some of the new apartments are that they add. Because the game, when it originally launched, you just have the one, and you can't really buy any other ones. People playing about that, so I'm excited to see the other ones in the game.
Yes. Well,
it was good.
It's
just so rare when we get to talk about something. I mean, I guess like we did talk about Lord of the Rings recently, so like it's nice to have something to just like gush about. That's just like, oh my god, it was so good. Like,
yeah, recently we've been finding kind of gems here for what to talk about. So the stuff we've been talking about has either been good or fun to talk about, rather than That's why I think it's a good idea that we're kind of going to stray away a little bit from Marvel here, because everything it's the same thing over and over again. It's like, it was fine. Here's what we didn't like, and then the last 5 minutes is here's what we liked.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like to give honest opinion about things, but so many things lately have just been kind of like not great. So
well, give honest opinion. I'm never gonna not give an honest opinion. Yeah, I'm never gonna lie.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're not sponsored by anyone. We're not telling.
I don't care if I'm sponsored or not. I'm not gonna lie and say I like something.
I'm not gonna say I like something. I
if we ever did get sponsored, I would never shill a product. I don't even really want to get sponsored, because I just burn that bridge immediately. Because there's not really any corporations I like. Maybe Steam. I do like Steam. Gaben's pretty cool, but I don't think Steam sponsors anybody. So
I don't think so.
That's our goal. We're sponsored by Steam.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
We're sponsored by Valve.
Yeah, because that's the one thing we believe in. Because we're Steam customers through and through.
Yes. Alrighty. Well.
Do you have any closing thoughts?
Watch it.
Absolutely.
Watch Edgerunner.
Watch Edgerunner. Play the game. I mean, be like us and wait for.
Maybe don't play the game yet. Maybe wait like a couple more months, and then it'll be the best it'll ever be.
I don't know. People are liking it. Like I said, it's making new big sales. It's
well, sure, but it's because of the anime. The game is going to get better. The next huge update that they're having. So I mean, pick your poison. Jump on the hype train now when the game seems to be pretty good, or wait a little bit longer, and then the game will just be better.
Yeah, I'm waiting, even though I've got such an itch to play it because the anime was so good.
Yeah, I have an itch to play it too, but I gotta hold strong.
Yeah.
Hold strong, man.
Hold strong. I gotta keep being Trevor and doing stupid things as Trevor in GTA 5 because I never played the game before. I'm finally really playing it.
Just in time. You're only like 12 years late.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
well, not 10.
I don't know. Like I kind of like playing these games super late because like I beat God of War, and then God of War Ragnarok's right around the corner. Like I waited 12 years for before really playing GTA 5. Maybe GTA 6 will be out before 12 years. I'm at the halfway point, maybe beyond the halfway point between games. Who knows?
I don't know when you're gonna play. Well, there's a whole there's a bigger and bigger group of people considering what comes out nowadays is like games are never finished. Is patient gamers. There's the whole thing on Reddit. There's this where they at minimum will not play a game released a year after it comes out. So if a game released today, they wouldn't play it for 1 year at minimum before they even consider buying it or downloading it or anything.
Well, you and I are like that because games that come out on Epic first, we have to wait a year for anyway. Because
I know, right?
We are Steam users through and through.
Through and through. But yeah, I think that's like a bigger and bigger movement that's starting is like, don't even, when a game comes out, don't even bother buying it because it's not complete.
Well, that's, I mean, it feels more and more like Epic is like the beta grounds. So we're like,
Yeah, well, it's not even Epic. Most games that come out are like that.
That's true, but like most games, we've waited a year to play Borderlands 3. It was terrible. Waited a year to play Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. It was also kind of bad.
It was okay. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't fun.
Yeah. So I mean, like,
I can't imagine playing that by yourself. Can you imagine playing Tiny Tina by yourself? Couldn't do it.
No. No, I
Couldn't do it.
can't. We played that as a three of us, so
Yeah.
I can't imagine playing that by myself. Yeah, I don't know. Like even games we have waited a year for and played haven't been great.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
like
you
it's
know,
like what happened? I don't know.
it's all about money.
Yeah. So waiting.
Watch Edgerunners.
Yeah. Watch Edgerunners. Absolutely.
Yes.
Cyberpsychosis out.
Email David at synthaholics@yahoo.com.
Indeed. Anyway, answer your door like this if you want to be safe. Until next time, guys.